All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. I am Otofu. I've been playing Dead by Daylight since June 2016 in the closed beta. I've been playing since the beginning. I've seen all the ups and downs of the game. This podcast is going to be around the topic of deranking in Dead by Daylight, which is a very controversial topic right now. It's a very common thing that happens. A lot of people will dislike it. A lot of people see no issue with it, and it's definitely caught some drama lately. Myself personally, I do not derank. I've played this game at rank 1 ever since the first month of playing it. I have a pretty neutral feeling towards it all. I'm empathetic towards both sides, and I don't really have a bias one way or the other. My goal of this podcast is to have a civil discussion amongst a lot of DbD content creators, and getting a bunch of different points of views. And I want to play a neutral party and really portray all sides respectfully and fairly. And my end goal is to get, an understanding from both sides and maybe, help open up some people's eyes towards everything. I'm going to be doing a lot of playing devil's advocate. I think this group of guests might be a little more swayed in one direction. So if I feel like the conversations are getting swayed to one argument, I'll be playing a lot of devil's advocate to try to balance it out and make the discussion more balanced rather than one-sided. And I definitely don't want the podcast to feel like a circle jerk, Joining me are people that I don't even think really need introductions. These guys are all much better fucking streamers than myself. But we have ANGRYPUG, BoxGhostz, Sexy Hexy, or just Hexy now, Jendenise, Kittychipz, and ScottJund. Let me the first topic that I want to bring up, we're gonna like start out with talking about deranking, talking about the rank system, talking about deranking, and then towards the end we'll be talking about the counter argument. So bear with me if if it seems a little slow at first and we're just more talking about the deranking and not the argument against it, but we're gonna get into it as we go on. So the first topic I want to bring up, and you guys can respond however you guys want, just try your best not to like talk over each other, is does rank matter? Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
No, you just cut off. So it just said, does rank?
Yeah, I was like,
does rank matter is what I was saying.
Well, I'm down to start it off. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure most people in this are going to agree that rank doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, for a fact that rank causes you to want to play this game as much as you do. It causes you to want to push yourself to be better. It's a big driving factor as like replayability, and it seems pretty minute as far as like the grand scheme of things go. But it's those little things like rank, like perks, like bloodlust, blood points, all that sort of stuff that makes you want to keep playing it. It's why we keep gravitating towards a game like Dead by Daylight, and we completely ignore games like last year. Why are none of us playing last year? It's a cool game, but it doesn't have any replayability. So I think ranking is kind of like one of these necessary evils where it's like this game doesn't really need it, but it makes it fun to push that.
I could give two shits about rank. Like I just don't want to be in the yellow ranks and the brown ranks. I don't want to be where the new play.
Okay.
What keeps me playing are the blood points and the blood webs and the grind. Like it's not rank.
But you got to admit that the ranking plays a part in that. Maybe not for you necessarily, but the grand scheme of things. I know it plays a part for most people. Yeah.
Is anyone in here of the opinion that it does not matter?
I think to say that it doesn't matter at all is a bit disingenuous, because obviously at rank 1, you're going to have people that are on average a little bit better, than people that are at rank 15. That's just, you can't really argue that. But I think the main point is that you can't use your rank as a descriptor of your skill level, because, as we know, it really just measures the amount of time that you put into it. Like, for example, if like somebody is somebody is rank 1 every single season, and every single game they're using like Omega Blink, Rune, Noed, Nurse, and that guy's rank 1, and you have another guy who's rank 8 or rank 9, and he's playing like Freddy with a weird ass build, and he's just kind of messing around, but that guy has better chase mechanics than the Nurse. Is that guy now worse than the Nurse because he's using less strong stuff?
I don't know. I guess for me, the biggest thing with like rank and what I notice is that, first of all, it doesn't matter like at all. It's like Jen said before, you don't want to play in like the bowels of like the shitty ranks because they just completely don't know what the hell's going on. But also, like, once you get to the red ranks, and I think this happens a lot both sides, it's not so much like that the skill level's up there. It's more or less that the more try-hardy people are kind of up there. The sweatier killers, the survivors that are crawling around the map the whole time. That's the only reason they're up that high. You get a lot of incompetent teammates at high ranks. And since I play survivor the majority of the time, that's what I see. And when I play killer at high ranks, it's just as easy unless I run into some like god tier SWF. And that's about it. And I don't consider myself in any way, shape, or form a good killer. I just play enough survivor that I know killer pretty well. And survivors are garbo at red rank. You can get just as good of a team in like the green and purple ranks.
So really the issue here is that it's too easy to get rank 1. Like, is that the issue? Like, so when people say rank doesn't matter, like, I feel like a big common misconception is people will say that as a general statement. They'll say rank doesn't matter, and then people will be like, well, for instance, I've seen an argument recently that said like, well, if rank doesn't matter, then why are you making it a point to not be high rank, you know? And I feel like the general idea here is that it's not that rank doesn't matter. It's just that it doesn't mean much is more what it is. Like, I feel like if people said that, if people said rank doesn't mean much rather than rank doesn't matter, it would probably, less people would be like confused about it. Because rank does matter in a way, right? It's kind of like you guys said, like even at higher ranks, people will play more, they'll play more sweaty or however you want to call them. I feel like it's I don't want to call them sweaty, but you know, they'll play more to win as opposed to just messing around and having fun. Whereas people,
fair.
yeah,
Like the people that are at, trying to get to rank 1, because if they still care about that, they're going to do everything in their power to get there, which means they're naturally going to use, the much stronger shit that they can use.
Yeah, I want to do my best to avoid, calling people sweaty, because I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to win a video game, right? Like, some people take DbD more seriously than others, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're a diehard DbD fan and you want a 4K every game, then that's fine. So I'm going to try my best to avoid calling them sweaty in the future, but yeah, I think that's really what it is. It's more that it's not really that it doesn't matter as much as that it doesn't matter much.
I also think it's like it doesn't matter much because once you get to red rank or rank 1, like the only thing that you can do after that is to get G-ranked on the 13th of every month and go back. Like you don't get anything. And I think that's like has always been like the biggest issue is like, so I can get to rank 1 probably within like 2 or 3 days, probably less like than 3, probably 2 days after rank reset because of how much I stream this game. And then what? And then I'm just at rank 1 and nothing. Like I don't get anything. And I'm not saying like I deserve to get anything because I get to rank 1, but like I think that would maybe be a better option for people to actually want to get to rank 1 that have been playing this game for so long if they actually got something.
Well, yeah, I gotta say, I mean, obviously, every single issue with deranking, everything boils down to the game having a bad matchmaking system and a bad rank system. That's it. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Okay, let me ask a follow-up question. Can DbD be competitive, and does that factor into any of this?
God, no, please, no.
Because I think that's really what it boils down to. Like I've
heard so many people say, "Oh, you need to have a competitive rank. That'll really show it. That'll be." It's like, oh my god, this game isn't competitive. The reason why I enjoy playing this game as much as I do, and the reason why I play it day after day, is because it's so simple. It's stupid simple. Anyone can jump into this game and start playing and have a good fucking time and have a blast, whether you're playing at rank 1 or whether you're playing at the top rank. And I think adding a competitive mode would make them. Well, in theory, it would make them balance the game around the top players. And I feel like if they balance the game around the top players, it'd become super unfun for like lower ranks, new players, so on and so forth. This game's like on a fine balancing line as far as like when survivors are OP, when killers OP. And I honestly, I don't want to like applaud the devs, but like I'm not envious of them trying to balance this game out. That's for sure.
Also, their game is like heavily RNG based. It's kind of hard to make anything competitive out of
so
something.
many variables. Like, I don't know how you could
Well,
ever
look
do
at
it.
BRs, I mean, that's the definition of like RNG, and people want to be competitive in that.
So that's what's kind of interesting, because they have a rank system, so they have this like pseudo competitiveness because you know, obviously they have like low ranks and high ranks, and especially people that are new to the game, they want to like everyone plays games to be good, right? No one plays games to be bad at them. So they do their best to get better and rank up. And I feel like to a lot of new players, it might seem competitive, you know, when in reality, it's not at all. Like it really can't be. There's too many RNG elements. There's too many like things that are imbalanced. So that's kind
They
of
could push it to be more competitive if that's the direction they want to go in. It's right now the ranking system doesn't mean anything, which is why people are even getting in these like deranking arguments in the first place, because rank actually means nothing. And it's super easy to rank. If you just play enough, you'll rank up because of the emblem system and so on and so forth. Just make it like, oh, I save someone and I work a gen. Yay, I'm safe pipping. Cool. All right, I don't have to worry anymore. You can go ahead and kill me, killer. I don't even care. Ruin the game for everyone else. I'm good. And that happens a lot in like all this sort of stuff. So if they wanted to make it competitive and have like more of a true rank 1 system, they'd have to balance the game and add like a point system or a ranking system that is more involved, I guess.
I mean, I understand why, like, I guess games go the esport route. It's money, so like I totally get it. But for me, esports is just like a huge like red flag. It makes me completely just get disinterested in the game on any
Oh yeah,
level.
100%, dude. That's why I don't know about you, but that's why I stopped playing H1Z1.
Yeah, I
as
was just
much.
gonna bring H1 up. That's exactly why I
Yeah.
left it, or at least I didn't go back because this game was pretty kick ass. I would have went back to H1 if it wasn't such like a, I don't know, the esports scene didn't take over. So I'm in the same exact boat as.
Yeah, with the moment it starts becoming like super competitive like that, and they're like, we got TSM over it. Like, it's the moment I become like uninterested in a game.
God, I miss H1. All right. So the last thing I want to ask on this topic is staying at rank 1 indicative of your skill?
Nope.
No. I don't know how to D-rank as killer. I literally do nothing and I won't D-rank.
Yeah, I agree with the killer thing for the ranking. For me, I feel like is a little bit harder to like. I don't know. You really got to go kind of out of your way not to pip.
It's the same with Survivor, though.
I mean, I feel like I have a little bit of a harder time if I get like, I don't know, tunneled or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, overall, I forgot what the hell I was gonna say. But yeah, I don't know. Rank 1 like just doesn't mean anything in that regard. To like, if people come in, like there was a joke in my channel where like people would start like, oh, how are you not rank 1 or whatnot? So I started like doing the whole like rank 0 thing just to like almost make fun of like the ranking system and even the devotion system. Every system they have is just a little bit of like, I don't know, like it's a joke. So
Well, that's another problem with the rank 1. And this is kind of like off topic a little bit, but back in the day when you got rank 1, you used to be able to safe pad it where you could like win 5 games into rank 1. And if you lose a game, you don't instantly down rank. It's not the end of the world. Now you could win 1,000 games in a row, literally 1,000 games in a row. You lose 1 game. You have 1 bad game. Congratulations, you're rank 2. And it really like screws with you kind of mentally, right? Like, I feel like I'm doing so good, and then now I'm down ranking because of 1 game, right? Like you have 1 bad game where the killer tunnels you or Mori's you like instantly because your team saves you. You used to be able to just be like, okay, I had 1 bad game. I'm still fine. Let's continue.
Yeah, but you get a 2 next to your name, and who gives a shit? You play another game, you're back to 1 again. Doesn't
Yeah,
really
but
matter.
it's like a mental thing, right? No one wants to actually downrank on purpose. Like if you're
I
rank
can see
1,
that
you
for
want
newer
to stay
players for
that.
sure.
Okay, I think here's the main thing I wanted to get by this. Okay, so we kind of discussed earlier that as you rank up higher, people play more to win. They play with more OP things. They'll play quote unquote sweaty or whatever. They're sweaty. So would it not be more indicative of skill if you were somebody who took that as a challenge and tried to beat people that were playing sweaty, as opposed to, say, trying to find people who weren't playing sweaties to play around and have fun? Would that not make you a higher skill player?
I'm ready to go in on this, but I want other people to go.
If you were guaranteed to get like, a super sweaty 4-man survive with friends every time, and that's like you took that as a challenge to get better at the game, yeah, that's one thing. But that you're associating rank with skill in that argument in itself. So you're saying that, you know, if you're staying rank 1 to get the sweaty people, you're assuming everybody at rank 1 is suddenly a god of the game, which is, I mean, we all know that's not even remotely true. So I feel like that argument doesn't have any basis on itself.
Well, the argument stems from people saying that rank 1 is where people play sweaty, which is what they try to avoid. That's kind of like where the argument comes from. Like usually when people say like, what's the difference between rank 1 compared to lower ranks, and like why do people dodge rank 1, it's usually because they say like one of the, I don't want to say, like obviously everyone has their own different reasons, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but one of the main reasons, and something that we even talked about earlier when we talked about rank mattering, is that people at higher ranks, they play more to win, you know?
I don't know anyone that plays a game to lose. Like, let me just go ahead and play this game so I can lose. That's fun. Who does that? No one does that.
I feel like I'm using play to win as a synonym for sweating their ass off. So if you want to use that,
this is where the whole thing comes. Go ahead, Pug.
I was just gonna tell you to go ahead. Go.
Well, the whole thing is like I hate when people say sweaty killer. I hate that, because the thing is, and where this hate comes from it is because obviously the killer wants to play to win. Like, right? The killer wants to play to win. The killer is going to do what they feel is right to win, whether it's tunneling, whether it's camping, whatever the hell they need to do, they're going to win. Just like you as a survivor is going to hit gens, going to do 360s, going to hit the D strikes, going to play with your adrenaline, going to play survival friend. You're going to do what you feel is right to win. Yet when a killer plays in this like try hard manner or whatever, he's viewed as a try hard, he's viewed as sweaty, he's viewed as scummy. Yet if he tries to fuck around and do like not try hard stuff, running silly perks, you know, he's messing around on killers that aren't top tier or whatever the heck, well, not you, but a lot of survivors will instantly shit talk that killer. Instantly. Fucking noob killer. He sucks. He's so bad. Oh, I could go ahead. I ran him around all this time. And don't get me wrong, like I'm guilty of it too, but I shit talk everyone equally. Like I shit talk survivors, I shit talk killers, I shit talk myself. It's I just hate that killers in this game get viewed so down upon. Yet what about survivors? What about survivors? So survivors dictate the pacing of this game like 110%, which is partially the reason why I have a problem with ranking as a survivor, because it's like, okay, I want to down rank because I don't want to play versus sweaty killers, but I want to go bully newbie killers. And like, yeah, maybe you do go ahead and fight like good killers that are at the higher ranks that are also down ranking. I also have down ranked as a killer. I did it because of Q reasons, but it's like, I don't want to fight the good killers because they're too sweaty, and I don't want to fight, or if I fight the bad killers, I just shit talk them the entire time. So where is the balance? Where is the medium of like, you know, like where is it acceptable? And when is it acceptable to play like a tryhard, or when is it acceptable to just fuck around?
You know, those survivors who probably shit on that one killer who's probably playing really bad, they probably have gone against other killers who shit on them over and over again. And they're just like, that one game, they're just like, I finally had a good game. They're probably taking their opportunity to like attack them. It's kind of that thing that DbD has, where one person's doing bad, the other people are going to take advantage of it. It's just like, one bad game leads to more bad games for other people. Like if someone brings
never ending cycle,
it's never ending. It's like one person brings in an Ebony Mori's off hook immediately, then like that person's gonna be like, I want to live. I'm gonna bring in an insta heal. I'm gonna bring in decisive strike. I'm gonna bring whatever helps me stay alive. That's probably where people get the competitive aspect of this game.
But no one views that as scummy, right? Like no one is going to be like, oh, you're a scumbag because you're doing that. Yet people will shit talk the hell out of a killer that's running NOED, right? Like,
I don't know. I get shit talked by killers all the time. Killers talk a lot of fucking shit.
They do. I agree. And the survivors that talk a lot of shit are usually the shittiest ones.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes hand in hand with the killers, but there's a lot more. Again, I'm survivor main, so it's kind of going to be like a little bit, I wouldn't call it bias, it's just more experience, I guess. A lot of times when I go and play killer and I just shut a team down, they really don't say much. And like, so that's where like I don't see a lot of like that shit talking happening. But I will say this, the most toxic people in the game tend to be survivors, and this is the main big reason. I think it's more or less, and it's I guess a little bit off topic, but it's because playing survivor is pretty relaxed. Playing killer is stressful as shit. It's like Hexy said, like you have to constantly like almost put your best foot forward, because if you don't, Jennies are getting rushed, like just everything happening. And I know that's like your objective. I get it. Like, what else are they supposed to do? But it's true. Like, as a survivor, you can kind of dick around and, like, to a degree, get away with it. So
Yeah, you can look away from
100.
your screen and shit when you're holding M1 and all
You
that.
could
and, like,
literally
killer,
just
you
stand
constantly
AFK.
look around and stare at the screen and, you know, pay.
Exactly.
That's one reason why I don't stream killer.
The survivors dictate the pacing of the game 110%. Yet they'll dictate the pacing of the game in a fast manner, and then they get upset when the killer decides to go ahead and try to kill in a fast manner. If you're going to push the game and make it go fast, then the killer has to push the game and get kills. Otherwise, if you have 4 people up with 1 gen, sit the fuck down. You might get 1 kill. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the facts of the game. Yet survivors don't take into account how they're playing the game. They only focus on the negative of what the killer's doing.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I
think
totally understand.
I think I need to step in here because we're getting a little off topic with the survivor versus killer. I want to say real quick that in my personal experience, if I'm playing killer and someone DS's and kills in my face, I say fuck you and I treat them like shit for the rest of the game. So I personally like I think it happens on both sides. You know what I mean? I do think that a lot of people will go into streams and hear them commentating over their game and, like, you know, casually shit talking the other team, and they'll take it way too personally. I never condone actually shit talking people in post game chat. That's never something that I think is ever okay. But I think people in general sometimes get a little too sensitive about joining people's streams and hearing them, you know, just commentating their own gameplay. You know, like if a guy has no ed, they'll laugh at him, or if someone DS's them, they'll be like, hey, fuck you, you know, and then people take it too personally. And I think that's a major thing that happens in the community that people need to chill on, is like, if you're a streamer, you're going to be commentating your gameplay. You're not trying to be malicious. You're just having fun and commentating. But this is off topic, and I want to get back on topic. I think I'm going to move on to the second major topic, which is basically, why do people derank? I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people in here that actually do derank themselves, and I would like to hear your guy, because I know people seem to think that everybody knows why everyone deranks. Everyone has an answer for it, but I think that there's multiple different reasons. So I would like to hear, if anybody in here does derank, I would like to hear your reason why you do it.
Number one reason I derank is because I play the game too fucking much, and I rank up like a monster, and I have no matches that I can get. So, and that's both sides. And I don't even play killer. Like, I play killer like 10% of the time, and I still can't get matches until like there's like a week or two down. So I would say that's the main reason. But as I go, I would say, to, like, I guess, piggyback off that, I don't, I guess, derank as much as I kind of like disconnect against, like, whatever, like the killers, just somebody else on my team disconnects. I kind of use that as a way to, like, derank actively, instead of just sitting offline and just, like, I guess you can call it power deranking, where you just, for an hour, you sit there and you go from rank 1 to 10. I've done that before. And again, the main reason I do it is there's a little bit not having fun. Like, for example, if all you're playing at rank 1, and we all know this, we've played high rank survivors, you play the same killer, not the same guy necessarily, some of us do, but you'll play like nurse 10 games in a row, and you're just like, okay, kill me, I'm just done. And it's not like a skill thing, it literally, because it's a fun thing. I don't really care about it being a skill. I'm shitty against a nurse anyway most of the time if they're really good, but mainly it's just not fun. So
For me, I don't derank anymore. Mainly because I get like a lot of hate from it. So I just stay at rank 1. And also, if I ever do want to play a little lower ranks, I do survive with friends. But for the most part, I used to derank mainly because I had a hard time finding lobby queues, and it did take some time. I constantly go against the same killer. I did a stream the other day, and it just involved the same 3-4 people, and 2 of them were from my stream and just sniping
How
me.
many
and
times did you go against that face capping doctor?
Oh my god, like 4. And I took an hour break to take to play the PTB, and I still went against him because he's still there, because he's very good at the game and he's staying at, like, I already know what their play style is. It gets so boring to a point, and my fun dwindles as I stay at rank 1, which is why I lean more towards survive with friends to kind of diminish the ranks a little bit. I don't like to go any further down because I do feel that to a certain point, you are bullying ranks. But that's, I don't know.
Nerf hillbilly, nerf nurse. Okay, thanks. Besides the point, I wanted to ask. I do think that nurse and hillbilly should be nerfed though. Screw those killers. But anyways, besides the point, why do you guys D rank as survivors? Because like I feel like a lot of survivors D rank so they can bully on killers a bit more. They can actually pull off 360s more consistently. They can, you know, kind of fuck around a lot more, not really have to worry. You can loop them like all game. You're also not fighting, you know, the billies and the nurses as much. I feel like that's why survivors downrank. And then from a killer standpoint, I feel like killers D rank not because they don't want to fight good survivors, but because they want queues. Sitting in queues for, dude, I mean, I was sitting in queues 13, 15 minutes a pop. And then I'd go into a match and it would be just a bunch of survivors pushing gens, which is fine. And it'd be like a 5-6 minute match. I literally was sitting in queue longer than the matches. And the reason why I used to D rank, I've D ranked like 4 different times, only on killer. I've never done it on survivor. But the reason why I D ranked on killer is for faster queues. Well, the last time I D ranked, the queues were just as bad. So I was like, screw it. I'll deal with the bad queues at rank 1 and just stay there. And I haven't D ranked since. But I'm actually curious why do you down rank?
Well, like I said, queues. I may be.
Queues for survivor though is instant.
I mean, I
like,
may
late
be
at night.
going in a
That's
lobby.
me
I
too.
mean, yeah, I mean, like you may be getting lobbies like instantly, but is the ping good? Like, does it get
well, you can see the
EAC
ping
bugs?
before you join. You leave.
That's the
from
thing,
there.
exactly. I'm searching for a good lobby to play. That's my thing.
Late
Just
at night,
because
we're always
I'm
queuing into like, you know, 200 plus ping or something like that, or we insta queue into a game and it takes forever to.
Jen
Yeah, I'm not
definitely-
familiar with the nighttime queues, so
Yeah,
I can't really comment about it.
Jen plays at a completely different time than like us when we're on in the day. And I would say even with me when I'm at rank 1, I'm constantly just facing the same killer, like the same guy or the same batch of like upper tier killers where I don't mind a challenge, but it's also to the point where like if you just play nurse constantly, it just wears on you. It's like I'll put it to you this way. It's like you going up against the exact same 4 SWF 5 times in a row. Or the exact same type of team, maybe they're not an SWF, where they're going to constantly do the same things to you. There's just no variation. So it's just, hence that makes it boring.
I'm not trying to be
still
like, I'm not trying to
you know?
offend anyone. I'm trying to more like just entice debate back and forth. But like if I see it's a survive with friends and stuff like that, I could just leave the lobby. Just like if there's 300 ping, I could just leave the lobby and go to a new one.
See, but you can't do that as a survivor, though. I think that's their argument. You can't
Yes,
know
you
that
can.
it's the
You
same.
see that it's 300 ping, you just leave
Well,
and join a new one.
They're talking about playing the same killer over and over again. Say if there's one killer that you get 5 times in a row and you queue into a 6th lobby and you're like, is this him? I don't know. I'm not sure. And then you just play it out and you're like, oh, hey, it's the same killer I just played the last 5 games. I think that's their argument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't use MLGA and I don't D rank, so I kind of just deal with it. I would wait, maybe like the killer get a lobby. I join some friends. I don't know. It's just like I still end up seeing the same people over and over, same teammates over and over again. I know how they play. I have to adjust to how my teammates play because they don't cleanse totems, or they don't do gens, or they don't go for saves. I kind of have to be that because everybody sucks throughout all the ranks that I've been in when playing Survivor Friends, and it's just it's like I have to accommodate for everything.
I don't want to just keep talking because I don't want to like hog or anything, but I think like a lot of this comes down to the matchmaking, and the matchmaking being the biggest issue. Killers shouldn't be sitting in queues for 15 minutes or 10 plus minutes. They've actually been pretty good the last
Yeah,
few
they've been
days,
great
but
recently.
yeah, I don't want to jinx it,
I
but
know.
I feel like the matchmaking is the biggest issue. If they opened up the matchmaking a bit more and made it so you matched from rank 1 to rank 5 or 5 to 10 or what, you know, maybe opened it up a bit more, it would give you guys more variety as far as what you're queuing into as a survivor and what we're queuing into as killers. I play both survivor and killer. So like I kind of play both sides.
If you give me more of a variety at rank 1, I will gladly.
Yeah, agreed.
So the arguments so far have been first off, queue times, which have been good lately, I think, for Killer. And the other argument is basically variety, which is essentially like, you don't want to play against the same 5 or 10 people all day, every day, which I get. I mean, I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing solely at rank 1 since the game's release, and I could name most people that join my lobbies as Survivor. I'm like, hey, I know that guy, like pretty much every single time. So I get that, and it's definitely a real thing. Do you guys think that there are people who D-rank solely just to bully lower level people?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
I know some.
Now,
I mean,
do you think that skews people's opinions on the topic as a whole?
Yes.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
people that play
Most
with Jen
people
that are
D-rank
like
for
that.
that. Yeah. Most people that D-rank is for that reason.
I would say there's a lot of people too that are just streamers as well, whether it be through YouTube or here, that I don't know, you always, to get a little bit off topic, there is always like, a little bit of a, who's the best survivor, who's the best this. And there's actively people that just do nothing but play like lower ranks just to, make, like you said before, like to 360 easier. I mean, I don't know everybody in here, but I know Jen doesn't do it, even though she plays like at the lower ranks. She can play high ranks, lower ranks, wouldn't matter. I mean, she's just as good of a survivor as any that are out there. But there are people that do it, and yeah, I guess it gives you a bad name. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like my stance on it is, I really don't give a fuck. Like, cause like I know what I'm doing when I D rank, and I know what the reason is for. You kind of get like just like old repeating yourself. But yeah, there are people out there that do it. So I mean, I'm not even gonna say fuck those guys. If that's what they need to carry their stream or their content, whatever, it is what it is.
I probably should have specified. I was going to ask about content create purposes. I more meant as far as like bullying low level people. I should have said with like malicious intent. Not like you want content for your stream or YouTube, right? Like if you're trying to make a 360 montage, obviously it's going to help you play against lower rank killers or whatever. And I don't even want to discuss whether that is right or wrong. But I'm more asking, like, do you think people out there D-rank with malicious intent? They want to bully a killer and make them feel like shit, like as like a malicious thing.
Yeah.
Well, why can't killers do it too?
Yeah, and killers too. I mean, I mean, Survivor I think is the more common one that happens, but yeah, killers as well. I mean, I think killers can also D-rank and beat up on bad survivors.
Yeah, I
don't
think
really-
both sides can do it. But the thing is, I think the survivor side, they're more outspoken because I'm sorry, the killer side is more outspoken because, killers have always viewed themselves as like the oppressed class in this game. So they tend to be more outspoken about that sort of thing. Even if it is happening equally, they're gonna voice their concerns way more.
I honestly don't think anyone's super downranking to just be malicious and like attack people in that sort of manner. Sure, they might shit talk, but we're gamers at the end of the day, and you need to like have some thick skin on you. People shit talk just like you're gonna shit talk me, just like I'm gonna shit talk you. It's gonna be this back and forth type battle. I haven't come across anyone that intentionally does that just to harass people, but I do think they downrank so they can shit talk and kind of like pep themselves up. I'm so good. Watch this. 360, 360, 360, 360. Ha ha. Fuck you, noob killer. Ha ha. Like that's like kind of what they do,
I think the most toxic thing in the game is post game chat. Like, I hate the word toxic. I feel like gets thrown around a lot. Like, I personally don't think anything in the game can be toxic. Like, if the game gives it to whether it's like survivor or killer, if it's given in the game, it's not toxic. But like post game chat, and I agree, like I usually just leave post game chat because I just don't even want to deal with it. Because I get shit talked as a survivor by killers, and I just don't even want to like. I don't know. I just feel like post game chat is the most toxic, and people should just leave. I don't even know if post game chat should be a thing, to be honest. Like, I feel like it's disgusting when people are like GG easy, or like I've seen people like say like racist things, like homophobic stuff, and I just think, I don't know. I think that's like the most toxic part in the game.
Well, the most toxic a game can be is voice in chat, and having a chat where you type is the closest thing to it. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, 100%. It's the most toxic part because people could do certain things in the game and it's like, okay, whatever. But it's the shit talking after that really like drives it home. And I guess you could always argue, like, as streamers, we always have the after game chat ready to go. But like, I just feel like having it in game has definitely declined the game. I personally love it because I don't know, I'm a toxic POS, but I can understand, and I do think that's where like 90% of the toxicity comes from is from the after game chat. So I completely agree.
Yeah, it's the way like you play too. But if you never had that after game chat, you really wouldn't know. Like BM wouldn't really be a thing because like it would be more or less, I guess, restricted to forums and not after game chat on like how people play and like you critique them. But now I'm with you, Hexy. I mean, shit, I would love voice in game. So I'll take voice in game tomorrow.
Oh god,
Oh my God.
you're playing with fire, bro.
Oh God, please no.
It'll be like Friday the 13th all over again.
I'd be muting a lot of people.
It would be awful. I think honestly.
My killer disconnecting rate would go through the roof, I think.
Okay, I think I kind of want to get into like a little bit of a spicier topic. I think I want to get into why people feel so strongly against deranking. Because we kind of like talked about the reasons why people do it. We talked about like rank. We're not really like, I feel like we haven't really touched base on what deranking does to, you know, the people that you're playing against. For instance, like deranking, I think, I don't know if I could call this a fact or not, but deranking makes the game unfun for the people that you're playing against.
Ruins the game.
For instance, like if you're playing against like if you're like a new like a killer player who maybe just got to like, you know, rank 8 or something, you're still sort of bad at the game, and you run up you run against 4 survivors who are so good that they're literally messing around just to make the game like fair, and they still beat you. Like you get beat by people that are clearly messing around and they're not even trying and they still beat you. That can't feel good. That can't feel good to play against.
Here's
So-
the thing: if that group is that good, though, they're probably going to have the same experience at any rank, though. They go to rank 1, they're still going to be that coordinated of a group that's probably going to shit on everybody. So I feel like I don't know, unless you're like going to like 15 with genuinely people that have like never played before. Like
That's the issue, though. If they're at rank 1, then they should be playing against good people. And then if they lose, then they'll derank to a rank where they belong, like rank 8, where they'll hopefully find people that are around their same skill level. That's kind of the idea, is that, like, if you're that good that you're, like, easily rank 1, it isn't fair to be playing against someone who isn't at the level to be rank 1, you know?
I agree.
And I don't know if anybody has any arguments towards that, or like anything that you can say towards, you know, because it seems to be a little biased towards like, I want to have fun, but like this person that we're playing against, who really cares about them, you know?
I actually have like a completely different view on it. The whole reason deranking, at least in my opinion, kind of ruins it, minus the obviously deranking and fighting worse people and being better than the noobs or whatever the heck. The whole reason deranking ruins the game is because you're the people, when you derank in a game, that causes the game to be a 3v1. You're the people that'll queue into a game, play it a little bit, they go ahead and suicide on the hook, causing it to be a 3v1, causing it to be a 2v1, causing it to be a 1v1. And that sort of stuff ruins it for every single other person in the game. It actually destroys the game for every single person in the game. And yeah, is it your responsibility to make sure every single person has a good time? No. But I do think if they added some sort of timer for leaving matches, or some sort of penalty for actually leaving, so on and so forth, it would discourage people from just downranking all the time. I don't really feel bad for like the noobs. You come across some good survivors every once in a while, and it is what it is. But them deranking at high ranks ruins it for everyone else. And I mean, I can go from experience. The past few days I've been playing, and almost every single game I've had a DC. Almost every single one. And then it becomes super boring for me because now I'm in a 3v1 situation, and it's like, do I want to be a bully to them? No, not really. I don't want to punish them because they had someone leave. So now I have to be like, okay, the mediator, like nice guy, but also I want to win. So it's like, do I win or do I just downrank? Like, it becomes this, it just ruins the game for everyone as a whole.
yeah, I
And
think
I know-
if you join the game and just immediately disconnect, that's a shitty thing to do. But I know like a lot of the people here that derank don't do that. They'll play the whole game out and then DC right at the end.
Yeah, I think the way you derank is very important. I think that there's ways of deranking that ruins the game for everybody involved, and there's ways of deranking that are courteous. For instance, I think that if you're
Courteous deranking.
there is. I mean, if you like play the whole game out and then you're like at the exit gate about to survive and you're about to leave and you're like, all right, I'll DC now. You know what I mean? You're not hurting anybody. You helped your survivor team get out. You played the whole match. You just don't want to rank up from that match. You want to rank down from it. I don't think that hurts anybody. You know, it's courteous, and I think if you're a big influential member of the community, maybe it would be important to like mention that every once in a while, because I don't want to be like, you know, big influential people deranking or causing other people to derank, but it probably is, right? And like if people are gonna do it, you know, and if you think it's okay, then I think we should at least stress and try to make sure that people do it in a way that isn't fucking people over, you know? Like, I don't think anybody in here thinks it's okay to join a game at rank 1 solo queue and just insta DC and be like, fuck everyone in here. I don't think anyone in here thinks that's okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but that's
it's
what
okay,
a lot of
but
people do.
But I've done it.
I love you, Pug. I've done it. Fuck it.
All right. To go off of that, I feel like there needs to be something said about the games that are being played at like mid ranks, because really, like, what it seems like. Okay, can I ask this question? The people that are D-ranked, you're D-ranking basically so that you can have more fun with the game, correct?
I derank so I don't lose my mind. Like I mean, personally, I stream this game a lot. I stream like 60 hours a week sometimes. Um and I will derank to like low green, like so like almost 8. And by the end of my stream, I'm usually 5. Um
8 is
and
purple. 8 is the
yeah,
last purple rank. So you're
yeah,
saying you're
yeah.
D rank down to 8.
Yeah, so I go to 8, and by the end of my stream, I'm like 5 or 4 or something. Um, and I do that because I get like a variety of killers who are good, and then I also get games that are more like relaxed, where the killer is like not as good personally, in my opinion, but like it's like a mixture. And I mean, the thing is though, like I die so much, and maybe I'm not good enough to be rank 1. I don't know. I die a lot in my games. But I also like play with like one other person usually, and we'll be like really altruistic. So like the killer ends up killing us anyway. So that's why
I've
I
played
do
with
it.
Kitty a lot. Sometimes there's just no saving. I try my best.
Exactly.
It's like she wants to die. It's like her goal.
That's like another point that that I guess is probably worth mentioning. I've noticed like you know, for example, like like Tofu, what would you have more fun going against? Would you have more fun going against, like the DPIP squad, who would end the game in 4 minutes, and you gotta be super sweaty, slug it out, and the game's, regardless whether you winning or losing, it's gonna end in 4 minutes? Or would you rather go against a 4-man group again, who is just pretty much dicking around, sandbagging each other, and just, they're obviously, even if they were kind of letting you do stuff, at least you were getting to like do something. Like, you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, no, I understand. And myself personally, I would obviously rather have fun against the people that weren't, going full DPIP squad. But I do think that there is something to be said about people who do look at things like DPIP squads as like a challenge. And, they want to be like competitive with the game and play against that. But I do understand what you're saying. I just feel like I don't know. I might be out of line here, so feel free to like, jump in and tell me if I am. But I feel like a big reason why people D-rank is to have more fun games for whatever reason, right? Like whether they can't get games because of queues, so they want to have fun by D-ranking just to get games, or whether they're like playing against the same people all the time, or some people say it's because people at higher ranks will use overpowered things consistently, and they don't want to play against like 3 blink ruined nurses all the time or something. But I feel like that's a big reason why. And there's kind of a lingering counter argument of like the fun of the killers at the mid ranks that you're playing against that I just don't really, I never hear an argument for, you know? And I feel like I want something to be said.
I mean, for me, it always revolves around fun. Like if you were to just package it up into just one word, yeah, at the end of the day, it's so that, you know, it's I think Kitty said this earlier, like she does 60 hours a week. I think a lot of us have been there, and I know I consistently do that much, and I'm at like 5K plus hours in order to keep my sanity. Just like the whole meta of the way the top red ranks are is just, it's the same killer because they have to, you know, keep up with all of these, like, you know, at sometimes really good survivors. I mean, there's also a lot of really bad survivors. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, but at the high ranks, but it's just like this never ending circle. So my biggest thing, I don't think I do it a lot. It's more or less like a feel for the day kind of deal. But if I need to D rank, I just do it. And I don't really, I see like, you know, I'm watching your chat and a lot of people are like, you know, well, why don't you, you know, it's clear that a lot of you guys don't think about other people's funds. Well, that's not right. Cause Hexy literally said that, you know, it affects other people's games. So you're wrong there. But I'll be the devil's advocate on this one and say that, like, honestly, at the end of the day, if I'm playing with people, if I cared about the people playing the game, I would SWF. I almost never SWF. I say it in my chat constantly that, like, I really don't give a fuck about the people that I'm playing with right there. I don't care if it's like a shitty thing to say. It's about like me having fun and like, I don't know, like it's a shitty thing to say, but at the core of it, if somebody's rolling around going, oh, poor me, you know, I hope these guys have a good time. That's just not me. I just don't care. Like if those other three people aren't having a good time, you know why? Because you play with a bunch of like fucking potatoes half the time. So it's like, I'm not having a fun time either getting put into this like shitty ass rank with like these boosted like teammates. So I don't know.
I think to add on to that, generally if one side is having fun, unless like you know the killer or you know the survivors, like if one side's having fun, probably the other side's not having fun. It's pretty rare to have a game where everyone's happy to die and everyone's happy to like get killed. And I mean, those games do happen, but that's, I mean, how multiplayer games genuinely go. If one side's having fun, the other side is not having as much fun.
Yep,
See, and that's
100% agree with that. Yep.
That's kind
of that good. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that's kind of the issue though, is because you're purposely putting yourself at a rank that you don't belong in, and then basically the killer doesn't even have a chance to have fun. Like if it was a fair match to where they realistically could beat you because they're like the same skill level as you, then, you know, it's like well, it just depends on who plays better, right? Like that's kind of how quote unquote competitive, like I know this game isn't competitive, but that's how competitive games are, right? You go into a match of like Overwatch or something, obviously one side's probably going to lose and they might not have fun, but at least you have an equal chance going into it because it's a fair game, assuming someone's not smurfing. And that's kind of the idea behind the smurfing thing, is you're kind of setting the game up in the beginning to already, you know, be awful for the killer player because they're not going to have any chance.
I think the thing is though, like a lot of, you know, these people that, I mean, let's be real, like a lot of these people that, you know, they have 6,000 hours in the game, if, you know, they're in a survivor with friends, it doesn't matter what rank there are. The killer's probably just going to have a bad time regardless. They're just, I mean, when you get to a point where you're so good at the game, you're just going to torture the other side.
But then if the killer does have fun and goes ahead and shits on the survivor friends, all the survivor friends shit talk that particular killer. They don't take into consideration the killer having fun.
Of
They
course,
just
I mean
become a
that's
try-hard,
just
sweaty
the bully
killer.
or the bully mentality too. They got 4 people ganging up on one guy. One guy says something, and then they're going to defend their friend. It's just, I mean, that happens with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens the other way around too. I don't want to be a bias towards killer or survivor. If all 4 survivors make it out, the amount of times that I've got shit talked to survivor by the killer for using crutch perks and looping, it happens to both sides. So I don't want to like be too biased towards killers or survivors in that regard. I just more think that the main issue is like the actual smurfing itself. But I feel like what it's coming down to is that a lot of the issue is becoming the matchmaking. For instance, a lot of the reasons why people are smurfing, they're not doing it to be malicious. Like you guys even said yourself, you guys aren't D-ranking to be malicious towards people. You're not doing it to like, you're not going out of your way to try to ruin people's fun. I feel like the fun ruining is kind of like a byproduct of the fact that the matchmaking is bad. Yeah, the matchmaking is so bad that you feel the need to do these things to. So like really, is the issue Like like yes, smurfing is like okay. Can we agree that is smurfing an issue? Like
talking about just using a different name outside of like what our real Twitch names are.
I should say like deranking and playing in a different rank to like
Gotcha.
beat up on people that are obviously going to be less skilled. Like is that an issue? Would you guys rather not do it if you didn't have to?
Yeah, I would rather play skilled people. Like I would play Hexy like all day long if he played like a rotation, which he does. But I don't play against Hexy at all. I don't play against a lot of you guys that are killers, or even with a lot of you guys as survivors. But I would totally be all for that, as long as there's just a rotation. I mean, but it's at the end of the day, my biggest gripe is that you just face the same killer, whether it's the same killer as the same killer or the same person. And when you play like the later hours, like the midnight shift, like, you know, like Scott will do and Jen will do, and other people on here do, you definitely that you play with even less people. So I know I put up with it. So I mean, let's just say they put up with it twice as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, I think a lot of that becomes a big issue too with just the killers that are viewed as like top tier, aka like Hillbilly and Nurse are viewed as like the top meta picks, and going against Nurse back to back to back to back to back can get relatively boring when you're playing at rank 1. And you see a lot of nurses at rank 1 because that's what the killers feel like the need to play to be able to hold or achieve that sort of rank. And this is where it becomes a different problem than just D-ranking. It becomes a problem with like the balancing of the game. How many killers do we have? 12, 14, something like that? And you literally see 2 majority of the times at high ranks. That's a big problem. That's a big problem, like super big problem. There should be so much variety in like what you're seeing with the amount of killers that we have in the game now, that we should never know what we're going against. But you'll join into a game. Oh, here we go, Nurse again. Okay. Join into a game. Oh, here we go, Hillbilly again. And it's just like, okay, like it gets old, it gets boring, especially when there's so much variety in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the issues come down a lot to like, for instance, okay, if we were to solve these issues, right? Like I think we can agree that deranking isn't something that people really like want to do. I'm sure that everybody that deranks would prefer to like be able to play at rank 1 with the same effects that they get from deranking, right? Like no one's doing it strictly just to like, okay, I shouldn't say nobody, but a lot of people aren't doing it strictly just because they really just like don't want to be playing against good people. Like I'm sure a lot of people would like to play against good people, but it comes down to like a lot of the issues, like the variety issue where you're playing against the same people all the time, and a lot of those issues I think just comes down to poor matchmaking. And maybe like the rank reset happening every month might be another issue, because the people that should be rank 1 sometimes aren't there because they just aren't playing enough.
It's 100% a problem with the matchmaking. The matchmaking is one of the biggest problems in the game currently. It's why killers down rank so they can actually even play the game. How does that make any sense? You literally have to down rank to play the game. Although, to be fair, like I said, the past few days, it's actually been really good. Don't want to jinx it. If it stays like that, hell yeah, you never need to D-rank your killer anymore. But from a survivor, I honestly feel like a lot of survivors D-rank just so they have the easier games. And then this becomes a problem with like they're saying they're fighting the same people, right? And if they opened up the matchmaking, you could actually match with a lot more people. And if they punished for D-ranking, there's no punishment for leaving games. You could just leave games all day long. But Hexy, they'll ban you if you DC too many games. Yeah, eventually. What is the percentage? Like 40? You could like assuming you play 100 games, you could DC 40 games or something. Like they need to punish D-ranking or just down or leaving matches as a whole, whether it's leaving, whether it's unplugging, whether it's Alt F4, give you a 15-minute timer. Now you can't play for 15 minutes. Sit on your ass.
Yeah,
Do
but
it
people will
again,
abuse
30
that.
minutes.
They'll just go AFK instead.
Then that's fine. At least I don't have to come in contact with them again for a while. Eventually, if you want to play the game, you're going to stop doing it. It's why all these other games have it in the first place. And then they don't actually have to ban anyone for it.
I think I would rather see the issues like that are causing people to D-rank be fixed. Okay, I have kind of another question that I want to ask. If everybody on DbD just like say if maybe you like they chose not to or they couldn't D-rank for like a month straight, would that fix the issues? Would there be enough players at rank 1 then to bring variety? And would that bring like maybe the people that, because from my understanding, it seems like people on both sides D-rank, right? Like killers also D-rank as well as survivors. So
But I think killers D-rank for actual queues, not to fight
Yeah.
shittier
Yeah,
survivors.
confirm.
Confirmed that.
I agree
well,
with that.
wouldn't survivors D-ranking be causing the queue problems though? Because there's less survivors at rank 1.
I don't think
I
there's that many
honestly
people
think that-
doing it.
I think the matchmaking's more internal than like just something that simple. Honestly, I don't think it has to do with people like survivors D-ranking. The amount of people D-ranking is not that significant. The reason it's become an issue is because it's streamers doing it, and everyone has their opinion on things, and people want to like talk down about X streamer, and then that streamer defends themselves, and then another person jumps in like, "Why are you talking shit about my friend?" And it just becomes this like back and forth cluster.
Hey, I tried to start a disconnect against nurse movement, and it never really took full movement. So I don't know how much power I really have, Hexy.
Okay, so the issue seems to be more with the matchmaking, right? The matchmaking in the rank system.
It's
think.
mostly the systems of the game itself rather than the players. The players are just, at the end of the day, like, yeah, like if we had to summarize it, it's just everyone wants to have fun playing the game. And because of the system being so busted, it ends up sometimes occasionally screwing over somebody else.
And there's no punishment. There's no punishment for it. They don't punish anyone for doing it. Like they ban, but I don't even feel like they should ban people. They need to do other things that punishes people in other manners, whether it's give them a timer or do something else. And then earlier, as we were saying, I think Box was the one that said it, we need some sort of reward that entices you to want to push those higher ranks and achieve those higher ranks so you can feel good about it rather than just being like, okay, I don't really care. I'm just going to go down rank to rank 10 so I can 360 this killer or something. And, you know, like I feel that if we were rewarded, just it could be something so minor, but just make you feel good about pushing rank 1.
You
Yeah,
think
I
that would
mean,
actually solve the problem though? Like, what reward would override having fun? At what point?
Imagine like getting some sort of cool like icon or cool like outfit or, you know, anything like something like that. Like it could be something so simple, a t-shirt that literally puts a check mark on the back for each time you get rank 1. Like, wouldn't that be cool? And that's just that's like a stupid idea. I'm not a game dev. I can't come up with cool ideas, but like something to want to motivate you to want to be like, look what I've achieved.
Agreed. Or even having something where like the quicker you get to rank 1, like imagine if there was a race for like everybody to be the first 100 people to reach rank 1 or something. I don't know. You're kind of almost going like leaderboardish type there, where that might be bad. But yeah, they've dropped the ball with rank rewards forever. I mean, it was the same way back in like I think H1Z1 days where they took forever to do it. And I mean, this game's going on like 2.5 years plus. There's, like you said, there's no incentive, and then there's that whole fucking devotion thing. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I'm wondering when like something's gonna happen. They didn't tell us. Like, whoever the first person to hit 20 is gonna, I don't know, like have a gold skin or something. But like, how is nothing even done there? Like, you're talking about like pure amount of play time being put into the game. So
I make fun of it and always just call myself like a loser. And the higher your devotion is, the more of a loser you are. Sorry, I know you guys have a lot. I'm not like directing it at anyone, but that's just like, it's kind of like the loser gauge. At least that's what I always joke about, like how much you play this game, because it actually doesn't do anything. It would be cool if it did something, but it does nothing. So what's the point of it? Why just get rid of it?
It just takes up a part of the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get back onto the subject of, like, it kind of like Scott said, okay? He said, like, I think giving incentives for people being rank 1 or maybe trying to get to rank 1 quickly, I think that all is good, right? Like, I think that's a good thing to be in the game. But like Scott said, I think maybe it might not be enough, because if people aren't having fun at rank 1, they might not care about the reward rather than having fun. But that kind of leads me to, like, why aren't people having fun at rank 1, you know? And how do we fix that? How do we make rank 1 fun again?
Well, that comes down to what we were saying earlier as far as balancing the game out, nerfing
variety,
the
yeah.
strong killers so there's more variety in the killers that you actually see, which is a difficult task to achieve. But like, I think if you just nerfed certain killers or buffed other killers and kind of got it to be where you'd see much more variety, I think that would for instance, that would help. And then obviously it seems like a lot of the complaints is that they keep seeing the same particular killer over and over and over. That's a matchmaking fix. Like these are things that the devs can fix.
Is that still the case though? Like on Survivor, like I've been red ranks like this last week, and I feel like I've gotten like a variety in like different killers and stuff like that.
Are you
Yeah.
playing consistently at one?
Like red ranks.
Yeah.
It's been pretty decent recently. I would say after the Legion craze is kind of like over now. Everything's been pretty varied, to be honest. I mean, you still have your
Honestly,
strong killers, but
Legion and Wraith, and I mean I was seeing things other than Nurse and but granted this was I was actually doing this during the
yeah, I haven't purposely deranked this entire month or cycle, whatever you want to say, at all. I mean, so no, it's been pretty varied. I mean, I got through the Legion. Legion was rough.
Yeah, I'll talk about my own experience at rank 1. I run into a decent variety of killers, like actual different killers. But the main issue I see as far as like what kills my fun is, I guess, would be like the overpowered stuff. Like I personally would like to see a balance. Like I would like to see a lot of balance issues change. Like for instance, Iridescent Head Huntress or like Frank's Mixtape Legion. It's like, I mean, Legion in general, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. But I think some of it might come down to just general balance issue, you know? For instance, put it this way. What do you guys think leaderboards would do to this game? Like, what if people had incentive to really sweat their ass off every game? Would that not just lead to, like, 3 long blink hex ruin no ed nurses every game?
Horrible.
Yeah, it would.
Horrible.
It would ruin the entire game. Every survivor would be.
Because also you got to realize you could boost it too. You could go play Survivor and not care about your Survivor rank to farm blood points, so that way you can just buy all these like OP perks for your killer and then just play killer exclusively and push high ranks, or vice versa. You play killer, farm all this stuff. You're always going into matches with, you know, Instamed this or Insta, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so it's like, that being said, like this game can't really be competitive, and it's like, unless they made crazy big issues, like crazy big changes, like they would have to.
Which they're not gonna do.
Yeah, like they would have to change so much. Like almost every killer has at least like one add-on that just makes the game insane. Ebony Moris are nuts. Syringes are nuts. A lot of survivor perks are nuts.
I do feel that sort of stuff is fun. Like, honest, true to God, I feel like that sort of stuff is fun. That excitement that you get. Remember that feeling when you first started playing that game of being truly scared? You get that feeling of being like, holy crap, he's using really strong stuff. The problem with it is the blood points that you're getting. You can generate so much blood points to be able to farm these sort of things in the tree. So you're seeing these killers that are constantly using these really strong things all the time, and it becomes unfun because you're seeing it so regularly. I wish they would just like cut back the tree as a whole so new players can actually catch up a little more consistently, and maybe cut back the amount of like crazy add-ons that you have, so that way when you see it, it's like, holy crap, let's go, this is going to be an intense match. But you won't see it as frequently. I like being scared. I love being scared when I'm playing the game. That's like half the reason I play it as much.
I guess my train of thought that I was trying to get at is like, it seems like this game can't be competitive, right? So it's a casual game. I mean, even the things you were describing just now, Hexy, was like something that happens in a casual game, right? Like you get scared and stuff, and like, you know, like you know things are in balance, but you know if they're running something crazy, you get like you get like the adrenaline and the fear. Like it sounds more. The whole game is more of like a casual experience rather than a competitive one. And I think that's where the issue is. Like, how do you like correlate a casual game, but then try to make a rank system that's fair for that casual game? And is there any way to do it? Like, is it even possible?
I genuinely don't think it is. There are so many variables in this game. Like even like the statistics they give for each killer, like the kill rates, those are so meaningless. Like it ignores how many times they get no kills, and then the survivor's like, one will get caught, and then they all run in at the end because they're just bored. They just want to do something, and they didn't get chased all game because the killer is bad or something like that, and then they all just kill themselves because they didn't get to do anything the entire game. Like there's just so many variables that you can never ever do that.
I completely agree with you, Scott. 110%. I think the stats is such a meaningless thing because I mean you could just go back. I don't know what the new stats are, but for instance with Nurse, like she had the worst kill ratio in the game. In the game. Yet if you asked back then, this is when she had 3 blinks too. Worst kill ratio. And everyone thought she was overpowered as hell. But then why does she have the worst kill ratio? The stats don't lie. Yeah, because she's busted and people don't know how to play her. So it's like you can't completely take that into consideration.
Also, DCs don't count for kills.
Oh, really?
Do they actually not? Oh
No.
my god.
Oh, man. Legion's gonna have a really low kill rate. Shit.
Everyone just DC. They get no kills.
This might explain Nurse's low kill rate, to be honest. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the thing then. Okay, as far as like an ending discussion, I don't like. I feel like there's a lot of points that I maybe miss and like still want to talk about, but I'm also not really sure how to bring them up or how to talk about them. But I really want to like see if you guys have any opinions on what could be done going forward with the game, right? Like, I feel like this is an issue. Like people are very like a lot of people are upset about it. A lot of people that are like playing against people that D-rank are miserable doing it. A lot of people don't want to like take the time to D-rank themselves. You know, like it's a thing that it really shouldn't be a thing. Like realistically, like if we're talking, it shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't need to D-rank, you know what I mean? And but like what could be done to make that not possible? If anything. Like do you guys have any suggestions? Like is rank reset an issue? Is any of this an issue?
I almost wish there was just, I mean, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but just like a rank system for people that are new. And then like if you're more experienced, there's just like you can just a free for all. But I know some people actually do like the rank. So that's just what I would wish. Because then it would be like a mixture of all types of killers, of all types of people, and it wouldn't be just the same people over and over again in a certain rank.
But they could keep the rank and just loosen up the matchmaking a bit, so that way you actually match with like more variety.
Or even that, yeah, that would be a really good idea too.
I
But then
missed when
people
it was
have-
like when you could queue into servers and stuff like that. I like missed the Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto server was really good. Yeah. So is that like the major issue, the matchmaking? Like hypothetically, I know multiple people in here like are people that like D rank, or I mean a lot of people, we just have opinions about it too. Like if they made matchmaking more like, you know, I don't really know, like more wide, if you were getting a wide variety of games, a wide variety of people, would that
100% would stay at rank 1. Like I hate going against the same killer 7 times in a row. At night, that's what happens. You either queue into like a laggy lobby or you keep getting the same guy over and over again, even if because that guy's sitting there like waiting for his lobby to fill and you're just going to queue into him again. It's if I get like a bunch of different killers, like different people, I would more than happily stay there. I would always be rank 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back. I was gonna say back in the day when you could like pick different regions. I was lucky enough at the time to live on the East Coast, so I actually would ping to Europe and I'd be under 150 everywhere, and then to the West Coast I'd be at 100. So I was like, I would bounce back and forth and just play Europe, and it was awesome because there were just certain people that played a completely almost different way. So when they shut that down, I got to be honest, I don't think D-ranking was ever a thing back then. And when they started that, I don't even remember if lobbies were a big deal back then because it was so long ago. And I don't know why they did that, but yeah, definitely like tightening the reins around the exact area you have to play. Yeah, you're playing against the same people all the time. And like, I understand that ping's a big issue, but then why are the half the killers I go to play ping-wise, they're like 200 plus, and I'm backing out of a match like every other match.
Yeah.
I know VPNs exist and shit, but I mean, dude, it really didn't fix anything.
It's
You're s-
yeah, it's like every lobby I go into is really bad, like really lag.
Like, there's no way. I mean, I guess maybe if they have a really shitty internet, they could still be in the United States or Canada or like Mexico. But I mean, yeah, like there's people that are like sitting at 300, and I'm like, where is this guy?
And like you instantly queue into them too. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like there's something going on with the matchmaking that doesn't seem right. Like, there's no way that there's just nobody playing one of the most popular games in your region, you know what I mean, at a certain time. I don't know, it just... And, like, you can only connect to someone from, like, Russia. It just doesn't really seem accurate. I agree. But I think the main points I want to get out of this podcast are I want people to understand really what the issue is here, you know? I want people to have a better understanding of like why people derank and like what the actual core issue is rather than just shitting on people in general for doing it. And even like I want people to derank to also like consider, you know, the fact that it is kind of not good. You know, like it's not exactly good. Like I know that you're doing it to have fun yourself, and especially if you're a content creator, obviously, like, you know, you want to put out good content. It's literally your job. Like, you're not gonna sacrifice your job, but like it is definitely something that isn't good for the game. You know, it's not good to like 2BD ranking and like, you know, playing against newer or like lesser skilled killers and like kind of hurting their fun.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here is going to say, yeah, deranking's great. It's healthy for the game. Like, no one's going to say that's ridiculous. It's just some people would rather preserve their sanity and at least have fun, like going against a variety or something like that. I don't know. I don't play Survivor that much either, so I'm kind of speaking for other people, but I think that's what they're getting at.
I think a lot of this could all be resolved if they fixed matchmaking or loosened it up or like whatever. I've even said like matching between 1 and 10 would be fine because it would add this like crazy kind of factor where you don't know kind of who you're going against. Maybe you get a bad survivor, maybe you get a good survivor, maybe you get a bad killer, maybe you get a good killer, and it becomes this like back and forth type thing. Because if I'm being honest, if you can get to rank 10, you can get to rank 1, right? You just got to keep focusing and playing and trying for it.
So, do
It's-
you think that there is like a definitive line of where skill is non-existent and where skill is met? Because you said 10 to 1 and you're like, I'm okay with playing
No, I
there.
mean, I know people will freak out if I say 1 to 20, so I don't care. I say variety it up all the way. You just push all the way to rank 1, and then rank 1 doesn't really mean that much, but it would be fun because sometimes you'd play and it would be like super brutal, and then other times you'd play and it'd be like really easy.
I feel like that's already how it is, though. At least at
Yeah.
rank 1, it's already at a
Yeah.
complete... It's such a
Mhm.
wide range of players that I go against, and it's
Yeah.
just... That's
Because you
already
get
how it is.
like, yeah, because you get like good players, and then you get like the people who are casually playing who have played enough to just hit rank 1. Then you get those people who are like really sweaty, who enjoy playing to win, enjoy that. That's their style, that's how they enjoy things.
Well, I also feel like they need to punish just for leaving matches and stuff. It's kind of off
I
topic, not
I mean,
necessarily with
yeah.
D ranking, but like leaving the match as a whole, unplugging the match as a whole, letting yourself die intentionally.
I would hate to DC like on stream against like someone that's more spamming me or like a lag switcher or something like
Yeah,
that, and then have
exactly.
to wait.
Like,
There are legitimate reasons to DC,
mhm.
too.
Yeah,
There's
like
never a
maybe not.
legitimate reason to DC.
What?
That's
If it's lag
bullshit.
switching you,
What?
you're going to play that out?
What if
Get
you
out of
Just
here.
What if
you're
you're getting
gonna get
camped?
that every once in a while, and there
What if
really isn't that many lag switchers. Come on now.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like, what if you're getting body blocked? What if like you're in the basement and someone body blocks the top of the stairs? Because
That's
I get that.
bannable.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
but
it
you still
still
want to
They
happens.
DC.
I
ban,
would
dude.
need to DC.
They're
You said
really
it's
bad
not
at that.
like
I
you
It
said
literally-
takes a long time for that. That would take a long time for that support ticket to go through. I
I
think,
literally
and
have, if I need something severely taken care of, like I've been stream sniped a couple times, like just recently I was, and I just switched to my alt because whatever. But yeah, I was disconnecting nonstop because the guy was queuing up with me and Maury spam. He did it like 3-4 times in a row. At that point, I just disconnected like 2 or 3 times in a row. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
there's
crazy.
definitely, yeah, there's definitely, and if you put that in, what does the guy get? 24 hours like the first time, and like he'll just come back and do it again. It's, you know, it's so
They
it's
don't
like, no,
ban
there's,
for stream sniping.
yeah, no, I know, but the griefing, you know, I don't stream sniping,
It's
whatever. I
not
don't care
even
about
really griefing technically. It's using the game mechanics like a Mori. And I'm on
Yeah,
your side. Like obviously it sucks to go against, but it's completely legitimate.
But
He's
if he
talking about
does it
Mori
like for
spamming.
5 minutes straight, I'm gonna
That's not
disconnect.
just using
Yeah,
a
you're
Mori.
being
That's
held
Oh, you're talking about
hostage.
spamming
You're
like
being-
M1 while they're on the ground.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Well, that's
held
also
hostage.
technically allowed, just by the dev's definition, because they're not holding you hostage and you're bleeding out. You'll bleed out in 4 minutes.
Well, I mean, I'm
So, like,
fine
he
with
has
that,
to
but
sit there.
yeah, he sits there and he just keeps doing it. I'm fine with them doing it, but then at the same time, if you're gonna say that that's fine, but then disconnecting's not fine, that's
I'm not
I don't-
saying that's necessarily fine. I'm just saying from the devs what
For
they
the
say is
most
allowed.
part, DCs
Obviously-
are wrong from his point.
Yeah, obviously you're saying, oh, what if they body block you? They could make mechanics so they can't body block you and hold you hostage. Oh, what about them spamming M1? They could make a thing so the moment you engage it, you stay doing the Mori animation. There's no like canceling it out and so on and so forth. These are things that can be fixed. It doesn't necessarily mean they're right.
Yeah, but like how it is right now, that I mean, that's not a thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If
that's
those,
the,
if
the only
all those
option
things
we
were fixed, then sure, but they're
But
not.
I'm just trying to say that DCing's not cool.
I think that
But, like,
maybe if there
D-ranking's
was,
not cool.
I feel like if there was a way of like giving like a 5-minute like timeout or something for someone that like joins the game and instantly DCs, because that's like what I think is the most like that's the worst. Like, why are you just joining a game just to instantly DC? That's what's like really fucking annoying. That's the most annoying thing. But I think if like you DC because you're being body blocked or like Mori spammed, I think that's fine.
Again, I don't want you guys to think like I'm against you and stuff. I'm just trying to entice debate so we can kind of go back and forth, because I feel like everyone's kind of just like, yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Like, and I feel like it needs to be brought up and it needs to be brought to people's attention so it can be fixed. This sort of stuff can all be fixed. Every single thing that we're talking about can all be fixed.
Yeah.
If we just are complacent with it, they won't fix it.
I mean, that's a pretty dream world scenario, though. If you think they're going to fix everything in the game, that's never going to happen. There's always going to be issues.
Well, that's why I always say I would rather the top tier killers be nerfed, and everyone's like, why do you want the top tier killers nerfed? That doesn't make any sense. Everyone else should be buffed. They're not going to buff 12 other killers. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to take them forever. So I'd rather the top be nerfed. That's a different topic, though.
I just feel like if we're going to be solution oriented, we need to be solution oriented towards something that is a realistic, like kind of like you said, like kind of like a more realistic solution. Like for instance, I think helping the matchmaking, like tweaking the matchmaking to make it more wide and like give more variety is a realistic answer, right? Like saying, hey devs, go rebalance everything about your game, nerf every OP add-on, nerf every strong perk, like do all that and then the game will be better. Like that would take years probably for them to accomplish while also pushing out new content that needs to be balanced. But I think
Well, and they also shouldn't completely super balance the game, because it'll just make the game stale and boring. If this game was perfectly balanced, it'd be so boring. It's the like fun little things that are like OP and not OP that are kind of cool. But I just wish there was like a change, like a shift. The meta changed. Now all of a sudden, you know, Wraith is the best killer in the game, and it's like, holy crap, like that's insane. And then the whole meta shifts for survivor perks, and now they're all running I don't know, other stuff, so it like shifts the game. It's been so stagnant as far as like the different play styles and stuff like that. I think it's the best it's ever been as far as variety, but it would be nice if it got pushed even further. They can buff stuff and then nerf it, 2 months down the road. And then, you know what I mean? I just don't know if they have the dev team for
They're just
that.
too slow to do that. Like, I
Yeah.
wish they were a dev team that did that. They just experimented, changed something, even for like 2 weeks, just see what the hell happened. I think that'd be amazing, but they've shown that they're not ever going to do that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, not have to put it on the public test build.
Yeah, I think shaking up the meta a bit would definitely be nice. I think map changes are a big thing that's needed for that too. I think it would be nice. I think the game has had basically the same meta for like years now. Like ever since like people discovered jungle gyms like years ago, and then they've just been slowly like tweaking them and nerfing them slightly. But it's been the same meta ever since. I think I think as like a closing thing, I would really want to I really want to get a kind of global understanding on the issue, right? Like, I think a big thing that a lot of people aren't understanding about people that D-rank is that they're not, like, I feel like there's a difference between people that take this game competitively and like take it really seriously, and then people that kind of play it casually and have fun. And I feel like a lot of people just are playing it casually and having fun, and they're not really worried about like the competitive side, because the competitive side's kind of a joke, you know? And I feel like that's a big thing that people are understanding. Like, people are just wanting to have a good time. And I think as long as you're not malicious about it, then it's not really as much of an issue. But I still think something should be done, because it shouldn't be a thing. Like, people should definitely not D-rank. And I would like to see matchmaking be done with it. But I don't like the general broad, like view that people have on people that D-rank. And even the people that D-rank, like the broad, I don't know. I just feel like the views are way too broad. And I feel like they need to be a little bit more specific and detailed, you know? Do you guys have anything that you want to say? Like, for instance, I know some people get like attacked for this kind of stuff. I don't know if anybody has anything that, like, if you guys want to try to like say anything towards the people that are, you know.
I'll just say, like, as long as it is so incredibly easy to rank up, like, I don't think that any argument based on rank at all holds any water, because it's based on a system that doesn't work to begin with. So if you're saying that people are bullying newer killers because they're lower rank, or I mean, I just think like literally the number next to your name is almost meaningless. And then people will always go, well, then why do you D-rank? If it's, the same thing at rank 1, what's the point then? Just play at rank 1. And then it comes down to, the variety and the fun thing. So I think as long as the whole ranking system is just so ineffective, any arguments about it are just silly to even have to begin with.
I mean, today I was streaming and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take off all my perks and just play really immersed. And I think I did like 2 gens and I healed somebody, escaped, and I pipped. So yeah, I just think it's just too ridiculously easy to pip up. Maybe if like taking away the safety pip, I don't know, something
Yeah,
like
I've
that.
been saying that. Like, what if
That'd be
they
a
take
decent
away
idea.
the safety pit?
I love that idea. Yeah, I do think it's way too easy to rank up right now. I also feel like it comes from a balance issue too, as well, though, where things like Noed can get like a killer that isn't so skilled to like a high rank. And even survivors have the same thing, you know, like survivors that will run like, DS exhaustion perk and like insta heals, you know what I mean? And then just like, or like urban evasion, and they just play super stealthy and get just enough to pip every game, even though they might not necessarily be good. You know, and I don't know. I think that might be a bit of an issue too. Like, is ranking too easy?
I wanted to chime in. Why are you guys saying take away the safety pip? Legitimately, you're talking about taking away the safety pip, like it's going to change the whole game and stuff like that. Yeah, you're D-ranking. So what does it matter if you safety pip? Let people safety pip. The game is meant to be like casual enough where it's like fun and challenging, but like also rewarding at the same time. And you're talking about taking away something that doesn't affect you at all. If they took away safety pip, are you going to be motivated to push rank 1 now? No, you're not. You're not going to care.
I'm just saying to somebody that, I mean, I play killer and I haven't D-ranked in a while because Qs have been actually pretty good now.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's necessarily like the worst idea in the world, and I'm not going to like critique someone, but I don't think that it's something that doesn't actually like change the game at all. It's not broken. Why change it?
I mean, I think everyone's just trying to desperately come up with something. Just some, I don't know. I don't think
it's as
super
simple as
behind it.
fixing the matchmaking and punishing DCs.
Remove nurse.
And remove nurse.
And Legion.
Oh, that's a whole nother topic.
Dude,
I'd love to
don't
go
even
in
start.
on
I don't even
Legion
want to,
stuff
dude.
right now. That's a whole nother topic, though.
Dude, the current PTB. Oh my god. Let's not go there though. All right, so do you, as realistic solutions, like obviously like removing killers? I mean, I know that's a joke. Like, they're obviously not going to remove a killer, but like, do you guys think that would solve it? Do you think like fixing matchmaking as well as punishing? Well, punishing DCing is you gotta be careful with that too, because like, what if you just have bad internet? What if your internet goes out? You know, like I feel like punishing DCing with like a minor punishment would be okay, but not like anything like major. You know.
I mean, it could be as simple. I mean, I was obviously just throwing out ideas before, but it could be as simple as something as you can't queue for 5 minutes, and if you do it more and more, within a week or a month or whatever, it just continuously racks up. So like, yeah, you could get away with doing it a few times, but obviously you keep doing it. No one's like, oh, my internet, oh, my internet, oh, my internet's 50 times a week, like
You
I just want
disconnect, it
them
takes away your
to.
blood points.
I just want them to open up matchmaking. Like, I don't know.
Wasn't it before where you were able to like get in a match with like 5 ranks up, 5 ranks below you before?
I don't know. What if they had it so like, I don't know. Red could go against more purple, I guess, and like just open up the ranks a little more. Not just like, I mean, matchmaking is pretty fucked up anyway. So sometimes we randomly, like, for example, Goose and I were both like rank 5 yesterday, but we were going against like green rank and stuff like that. So that stuff like happens like, but I don't know. I kind of want just like maybe ranks like 1 to 7 or something, for example, to be able to go against each other like more consistently, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think that would definitely 100% help it. And it would also like make killer queues not so bad, even though, like you guys said, they're not that bad right now, but still just like people that like rank up really quickly as killer during rank reset don't wait for like an hour for game.
Yeah, I think that's another big issue too, is like directly after rank reset, which I feel like that also comes with incentive of like the giving people incentive to get the rank 1. I think if they combined all those things, if they loosened up the matchmaking, gave people a real incentive to be rank 1 and punish DCing, that would probably.
Well, wouldn't you guys like the resetting each month, like when the rank resets? Because you D-rank. So if you're D-ranking, wouldn't that be a good thing? Why are you against the rank reset? I'm curious.
Well, I don't know if anyone's necessarily against the rank reset. They're more just like, if you play the game often, right? Like if you're someone that does like 10-hour streams of the game, and after rank reset you play for 10 hours and it's like next to impossible to D-rank just by regularly playing, then you end up being like one of like 5 people at rank 4, and then you just can't get games. Or if you are, you're getting like the same 5 people, I think that's the issue there.
That's the
Yeah.
only time where when I
killers.
actually de-rank is because the very beginning of rank reset.
Yeah, I'll like play Survivor the first couple of days of rank reset just so I can actually play killer for the next couple.
Yeah, so like the tightening on the matchmaking kind of ruins it because you're going to push your rank too fast. So it kind of like ruins it for you. I guess that makes sense. I personally love rank reset because now everyone's kind of on the same page and it becomes this more melting pot of the variety that you're hitting as far as like the different killers and different survivors that you're coming across, and you can actually mess around and try with like all these different builds and run like a scratch mirror Myers and not completely get dominated because everyone flies through all the generators. And I like that, the rank reset personally.
See, that sounds like exactly why people D-rank right there. Like you sound like you're literally describing someone that is describing why they D-rank, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I think maybe if they loosened up matchmaking, gave people rewards for rank 1, if all these people that you run into during rank reset, if you ran into them throughout the rest of throughout like the just normal playing, right? Like not just during rank reset, like maybe like 2 weeks into rank reset, if people that actually like were playing there had an incentive to be rank 1, and if there was like looser matchmaking, then maybe games like could be like that all the time,
I personally love the idea of looser matchmaking because the whole idea of this entire game, I love the not knowing. And I've heard people say, like, you should know what the killer is, you should know what their add-ons are, perks are, yada, yada, whatever. But me personally, I love the not knowing. It's what makes the game so fun. Having to discover what particular perks a killer is running and not knowing if they're running no-ed, or going versus
100%.
Survivor and not knowing if they're running certain things. So I like that variety. And I think the variety as far as like ranking goes could be a little less tight. So oh my God, I don't know if this guy's any good. Holy crap, he's actually super good. And
Well, that's like one of the issues, though. Like, I go
Yeah.
against the same person over and over and over again at night, right? I already know what he's running. I see this Huntress. I could hit Shift Tab so easily and see it's the same killer. And then I don't know. I know he's running Ruin. I know he's running Noed. I already know these things. I know how he plays. I know he takes loops really wide. I know he doesn't respect pallets. I don't like having all of that information, That's why I like going against
removes
different people.
Yeah, I completely agree. I can look at, like, I play at rank 1 consistently, and I can look at the killer and practically know if they're gonna have no ed. I can know, like, I'll see it's a good killer, and I'll know exactly how they're gonna play loops. I'll know that they'll know to mind game Shack and stuff if I'm running Shack. Like, I can look at the killer and just, like, easily predict, like this is how they're gonna try to play things, and then I can play around it. There's no, like, there's not really much of a mystery anymore, you know? I do think I don't know. I think that really boils. I think that really is what I think that sums it all up. Honestly, I don't really think there's much else to say about it. I think people are deranking to get variety and, like, actually have fun with the game. And I think the reason that people are doing it, okay, I do think there are people out there that derank specifically to get easier games. I'm not gonna pretend that doesn't
100%.
exist. You know,
100%.
yeah. I think
we've been kind of avoiding that entire topic, and I ain't trying to, like,
I don't think
I don't
anyone's
want to be the
denying
one that
that.
just talks the entire
Yeah.
time. So I'm trying to, like, shut my fat mouth and let other people, like, talk a little bit. But 100% people derank to bully killers.
Yeah, and I feel
And
like that's the issue.
Go ahead.
So I just want to say that's the actual issue. I didn't mean to interrupt. I think that's, like, the actual issue here is that still does happen. I don't know if I don't think anybody here does that. And I think the people that are here that are deranking actually have, like, decent reasons that could be fixed by, you know, matchmaking issues and stuff. But, like, how do we stop that? How do we stop the malicious people who are deranking just because they want to, you know, fucking get 5 flashlight saves and then DS a killer and then teabag them and click their flashlight at him and be like, ah, fuck you, killer, I'm better than you. Like, how do we stop that from happening? You know, is there a way to stop that?
When you DC?
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, like, besides punishment when you DC, I don't really think there's, like, a way to, like,
You can't
get
stop
rid
that.
of that. Yeah, you can't. Like, personally, if I didn't stream this game, I would never derank because I probably wouldn't be playing it as much as I do on stream. But, like, as far as people that, like, aren't streaming, I really don't think any streamers, like, specifically do that to or not punish killers, but to, like, bully killers. But people I don't know. I just don't think there's, like, a way of stopping that, sadly, unless you just don't have rank.
It's going to happen no matter what. Even if they added punishment to deranking and so on and so forth, it's going to happen no matter what. It's the same reason people hack games. It's the same reason people smurf in games. No matter what, it's going to happen. But they can make it more difficult. It's so easy to do right now. Like, you don't even have to try and you can do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Sorry, you can go. I didn't mean to interrupt.
fine. I was just gonna say how if we made it a little too difficult, the people who are trying their best and aren't actually getting being able to rank up, because I remember there's a point where it was actually a little difficult to rank up, and there was, like, this uproar about people not being able to rank up.
Yeah, that was
And
actually worse. I
that
could
was
never
worse
find games.
because people who were able to rank up had no games at all. So it's just like, what do you do to balance out making it harder and then also still being able to pip just casually playing, you know? Because the majority of people are casual gamers.
Yeah, I'll definitely add on to that. When they changed the emblems to make it harder for, I think it was just for Survivor to rank up. I don't think it affected Killer that much. That was, like, the worst period ever. I couldn't even play the game. Just no one to go against.
Yeah,
I would have to
it was
derank to, like,
impossible.
green ray. It was ridiculous. So yeah, delete ranks.
See, like, I was just gonna say, deleting ranks. I feel like that hurts newer players because I feel like the rank system is really good for newer players to have something to work towards.
Exaggerating. You need to have something that separates new players. You definitely need to, obviously.
Well, that's
I mean-
why don't, like, what if, like, the newer players just had rank? Like, I mean, that's the only way that I could think that people don't derank to bully people. Like, that's the only way that I would think that they could.
But what
I
is
don't
the
know.
point of having new players with rank? And then what are the OG players going to do? They just have no rank and just queue? Wouldn't that be kind of...
I've heard a lot of.
the majority, a lot of the people that play this game, they want to be rank 1. They want to do the rank grind. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I
think
agree
that getting rid of
completely.
the rank
And that
is
seemed...
Well, I hear people say they just want rank 1 for the achievement.
Keep in
They
mind
want
with this,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say this piece is that, like, I don't know how many of you guys don't do SWF, but I almost exclusively never SWF. So when you derank, here's another big thing, and this is 100% true if you play at this level. You have literally better teammates in green and purple than you do red.
I can.
Like
I
they're
agree.
just they're much less immersed. They're actually just kind of like, I don't know, they play a lot looser. So that's just another thing personally that I don't think anybody like touched on. Again, I don't know how many of you guys SWF, you know, or if you don't at all when you play Survivor, but it's they're really bad in the red rank. Like they know what to do, but it's like, I think somebody said it before, like they do just enough to pip, and that is literally your hardcore teammates up there. So rank, and I know I'm not, you know, giving a reason, you know, I'm not giving a suggestion to fix it because I just don't know how, but rank isn't even, it's by how much, like, that's why, like before when I was saying like how much people sweat over stuff, I'm not just saying killers are sweaty. Survivors that play that way are extremely sweaty. Sweaty survivors aren't the one that are just running and trying to loop you and flashlighting you and stuff. To me, that's just their skill set. They're bold enough to do that type of stuff. The sweaty ones are the ones that are crouching around everywhere and are just, when you get put on a hook, there's 3 people in the crouch position, just like not on a generator,
too
not doing
selfish.
anything. And
Yeah.
you're
They're
like,
too
what the
selfish
fuck is
to go for
happening?
saves and
Because
stuff.
they only care about their precious pip, like, because it's so important to them. So they'll actually just let you die. I gotta get this gen and get out. It's
So-
Yeah, they see the other survivors as literally just pips.
But
So I
it's
know, I just-
also part of the fun, I would say, because it's that excitement, it's that adrenaline that kind of like pushes you to want to keep playing. That
Oh, it
incite-
ain't exciting getting put on a hook
Yeah.
first hook and then watching your teammates earn
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
maybe
I
not
mean-
for you, but you know for a fact that person playing the game crouching in the corner is like, oh shit, dude. Oh my God, I gotta be like, oh shit, the killer's right. Oh my God, watch out, watch out. Oh my God. Like, obviously it does suck for you, but like that excitement that they're getting, that excitement is something you got to hold on tight to, because that's like what makes this game so fun.
Well, that goes back to the if someone's having fun, someone else is not having fun argument.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I have to repeat what I said before. I don't give a fuck about anybody else having fun when I'm not having fun. So, and I think you're bullshitting yourself if you're putting somebody else's fun on the same level of you, because
Well,
it's
then at that point,
ultimately,
you might as well just play Survive with Friends. So you always have a good team and then you're always having fun, right? By that definition.
I mean, I like having my teammates to live and also have a good time. I don't know, maybe I'm the rare weird.
Yeah, I try to do my best to play in a way where everyone has fun, even the other team. Like I don't run DS, I don't run NOED. I'm the kind of person where if I don't like playing against something, I won't run it myself because I just don't want to. I don't want to do that to people. I don't feel good like doing something unfun to other people, right? But like, it is true that the majority of people are not going to do that. Like the majority of people are not going to give a fuck about other people's fun. They're going to be like, yeah, I'm having fun. If this person happens to have a bad time while I do it, fucking sucks to suck, you know? So I think that comes down to the game. Like the game shouldn't like maybe it shouldn't be so possible to be unfun, you know? But then that also just I don't even know how that correlates with the ranks, to be honest, though. I don't know.
Plus, that's a problem you can just never fix. There's so much shit in this game you can do that's
Yeah.
unfun. It's just don't even try. Just let the
Well,
chaos.
and
in.
everyone's definition of fun is different.
Yeah, that too.
exactly.
And again, like a lot of these opinions that I keep bringing up is more just so it's like friendly debate and back and forth rather than us all agreeing on something. Because a lot of this stuff, a lot of us seem to agree on. And I would rather like spice it up with more interesting talks and have you actually defend why you feel these ways and so on and so forth. So some of the stuff that I'm bringing up is more just for the debate factor. So you can voice your opinion on like how you feel about certain things.
No, yeah, like we totally get it. You're doing a good job of like bringing up other points. I'm trying to think of other points myself too, but yeah. It's just like why that's so weird though that like if survivors are better at lower ranks than high ranks, like how is that a thing? It like almost doesn't make sense to me.
it's
Because
just a
the
play
casual
style.
gamers. It's just the casual gamers who have lack of game knowledge are already at rank 1 for just, and it's just no one wants to be stuck with those. So
Well,
they
rank-
derank.
High ranks aren't skill. It's high ranks are how much you play the game. That's
Yep.
that's literally what it
That's
comes
all
down
you
to.
can ever say.
Yeah, they're casual gamers up there.
So I think that's really what it boils down to then. I think this all could boil down to the people that are deranking are playing the game for fun rather than competitiveness. and they're just kind of like having a good time. And even if it doesn't necessarily mean that they do the best like pip wise or whatever, or they're not exactly like sweating their balls off, but some of them, obviously there's some people that do sweat their balls off in D rank, and like that's definitely a big issue. But I mean, I think that's really what it boils down to. I don't think there's much else to say about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the people that are getting most upset about this are the ones that view the game as very competitive. Which I don't know why you'd ever view it like that. It's clearly never. It's never going to be like that. So I don't know. I feel like it's just
I
sort of
mean,
a mind-your-own business thing.
yeah, the essence of it is just the game is just a 4v1 party game. That's what the game is.
I mean, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Do you guys have any? You guys have any like closing statements for this?
The Elite Legion.
I think it's done. We're discussing deranking.
Yeah, how do you mind if I ask, how did this even become a thing? Because deranking's been around for so long, people have been doing it for so long, and it just recently became like this hot debate.
Well, it's
Like, what was the hot debate? How did this get triggered? Because I guess I
Reddit.
missed it. I just saw Twitter going in on each other, and I'm like, oh
Reddit.
my god, let me grab some popcorn.
It's people trying to dictate how others want to have fun in the game and to take advantage. I don't know. It's just like people are mad that others are having fun by deranking. Like they just, I feel like
Pe-
that's it.
People are mad that they're not playing by the imaginary rule book of DbD.
You know,
I'm
yeah.
gonna play devil's advocate to this one and say
Fuck.
that. Well, I think what it is I think some of the people that are getting into games with D-rankers are having fucking terrible games. You know, it's like I said before earlier in the podcast. If you're playing a game and you're trying your best, you're trying your best at it, right? Say you're like a newer player and you're trying your best, and you get a group of 4 survivors, or 4 opponents that are just so miles better than you, and you're not even at the highest rank, right? You're like the mid ranks. Like say you're like gold in any other rank, like any other competitive game, quote unquote competitive games, rank system. Say you're like in gold and you're playing against people who are obviously like top tier, and they're just like fucking around, right? Like they're just fucking around with you. Like they're clearly not even trying, and they're still like shitting on you. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my god, what is this? Like it definitely can be very fun. Like there's no way. There's no way that they're gonna be like, yeah, this is fun. I love like getting completely fucked with while I'm the killer and they're the 4 survivors. Like I'm supposed to be killing them, but I'm just getting fucked with. This is a good time. Like they're clearly having a bad time. And those people probably then turn around and then make their voices heard. They'll like complain on Reddit or Steam forums, and then it all kind of comes full circle to where like other people probably have bad times, and then they start getting together and bitching, and they'll see people, like they'll see streamers that are deranking. And I think this is also where it comes from a big misunderstanding, because I think what happens is that they become hurt because obviously they had a bad time, right? They're trying to play the game to have fun, and they have a bad time, and they're like, fuck, this sucks. And I think what happens too, like, don't get me wrong, they're not completely in the wrong, because I think it is fucked up that people derank to ruin their games. But I think that they also, because they're hurt, they don't really use a lot of like understanding and logic. So they'll see like anybody that deranks, regardless of what their reason is, and just be like, fuck you, you're a toxic piece of shit, no matter what, because I played against derankers and they maybe had a bad time. So because you're deranking, you're the same way, you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's necessarily right. Like, I think every case is kind of subjective. It depends on the situation. It depends on why they're doing it. It depends on what they do. It depends on if they're being malicious in game, or if they're just like fucking around. You know what I mean? Or if they're shit talking after the game. I think a lot of people like take that for granted. Like, I mean, are people like shit talking you? And I think that's really what it boils down to. That's where the whole argument comes from.
I mean, yeah, of course. We've all, even, we're good killers. We've been at that point where, I don't know, for whatever reason, you just fuck up, or they're just insanely coordinated, and then they're all teabagging at the exit. It's just, it's a shitty feeling. And I guess some people get way more affected by that than others. And then rather than, try to improve upon yourself and go, man, there's probably stuff I could have done better there. They're just, gonna blame the game and allowing that kind of stuff to happen, which is completely reasonable. It's completely understandable. But yeah, no, that's definitely, I would definitely agree that's where it starts, and then it's like a cycle and it keeps going.
Yep, completely agreed.
So the whole thing kind of came from Reddit, is what I'm getting. Like, I guess Reddit freaked out, and then it became this thing. People were...
It's in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Yikes.
somebody,
Mostly Reddit and Twitter.
yeah, it got, I think it did start from Reddit, and then some people got called out on it, and some people made their points on Twitter, and then other people came along and made their points, and that's when things got spicy.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of like the whole survivor killer debates where survivors are always right, killers are always right, my opinion's always right. I always just like healthy debating, like, and that's this back and forth so you can have a better understanding and things can get fixed or adjusted.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that was the whole goal here, was just to try to bring some understanding to both sides. You know, hopefully people hopefully if anybody's watching this and you're someone that like D ranks, like, please don't try to fucking completely destroy someone's fun. Understand that there's a human being on the other side and they're just trying to have a good time. You know, I know that you're trying to have a good time too, but do your best to like not completely destroy their time. You know. And same thing as the other people who like look at D rankers and they just immediately like demonize them and don't really like take any time to like understand what's going on, right? For instance, if you're like a content creator and you're playing against the same 2 people, 2, 3, 4 people all day, every day for 10 hours straight, I don't blame you if you want to D rank and try to play against some other people. Myself, I personally don't blame you. And you know, if you can look at that and still be like, I don't care, fuck that person, then I guess feel free. But I feel like I at least want people to take a second to try to be understanding and like, you know, understand the point of view before you make any judgments.
I think that's about as fair and neutral as you can get.
Yeah, that's about all I can say for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. People get lost, and don't forget that there's actually people playing the game.
Do you guys have any like closing statements? I think I've said all there is to say. I think I'm pretty much donezo here.
Yeah.
No, you guys are
false
awesome.
narratives.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just false narratives, you know.
I was
I
just gonna
think-
say you guys are awesome. This was super fun to just kind of go back and forth and get like more of a survivor input on a lot of this stuff. 'Cause I do play both sides, but it's interesting to hear the other side and kind of have a better understanding of how killers feel and have a better understanding about how survivors feel. Sounds like the intentions of D ranking as a whole is different, but at the end of the day, everyone just wants to play and have a good time.
I think as long as rank is such a like an ineffective system in this game, it's almost like, yeah, this is, you know, it's been fun talking about and stuff like that, but having like serious feelings about it, just it really doesn't matter that much. Just I don't know, it's not that serious. It's not a very good system, and making super strong opinions on it one way or the other is, I don't know, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I got about something set up. Anybody else, or can we wrap it up?
No, it's good.
I
Things at the
appreciate you
top.
having this talk.
Yes, thank
Yeah, it
you
was
guys
fun.
for joining me. I appreciate it.
It was fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, everybody in here is a fucking amazing streamer. I'm probably gonna post this to YouTube, so I'll like link you guys all in that. But I mean, you guys are like fucking bigger than me anyway, so I don't even know if it'll do much. But like, credit where credit's due. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys all for joining me, for real. Really didn't even expect anybody to like care to even come chat with me, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to come do it. You guys are
Thanks
great.
for
Thank you.
organizing it, man.
Thanks for having them.
All right, that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and that's gonna be it. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Bye.